Welcome to my world of stuff. My name is Paul Mount. Today I'm going to be talking about a film which arrived on Netflix a couple of weeks ago. I've only just got around to watching it. It's called T.I.M, T-I-M, stands for Technologically Integrated Manservant. It is an AI technology gone amok type film. Now, these sorts of stories really date back to the time of the early robots. One of the tropes, I suppose, of robots and artificial intelligence is that it goes wrong and it becomes sentient, it turns against mankind. We've had loads of these films and stories and books across the history of science fiction. It's something which is quite prevalent, I think, particularly on TV anthology shows at the moment. People like Charlie Brooker in the brilliant Black Mirror is often doing these stories where technology turns against humanity. And I think a film like T.I.M is quite prescient at the moment because there's been so much talk in the last few months about AI and the dangers and the perils of AI and deepfake technology and all this sort of stuff. And it has potential repercussions all over the place in the film industry, the potential for actors to be replaced by computerized looky-likeys, and even people who've passed away being recreated. And I know that there's a massive concern in the industry about supporting artists, for example, being replaced by artificial intelligence or replicas, that sort of thing. It's a massive topic at the moment. It's bubbling away that is of concern, possibly not to the man in the street, but I think in terms of the way technology is going, it's something which is quite a prevalent concept and a prevalent concern. People are genuinely worried about AI and this sort of thing is going to go. And I think it's always interesting when you watch a film which takes that to the next step. These things tend to be cautionary as well as scary. I mean, as I mentioned, Charlie Brooker in Black Mirror, he's always doing these things. And I'm sure across the history of Black Mirror, he's done stories where artificial intelligence turns against man. It is a big science fiction theme at the moment. I will say I've rarely seen it done better than in T.I.M, T-I-M, which I've just watched on Netflix. It's been out for a couple of weeks. I finally got around to watching it. What a terrific, enjoyable, suspenseful film. It evokes memories of things like Megan that we've had recently. And as I said, there are lots of films of this type. But it stands out in several ways. One, first of all, it surprised me. I didn't realise it was a British film. Absolutely amazed me. And so nice to see a British genre film done like this and tackling this sort of story. It's written and directed by Spencer Brown. I think he co-wrote it with his wife. Spencer's a comedian. I'm not that familiar with his work, and looking him up just now, I noticed that he starred in a film called Shed of the Dead, which I saw a few years ago. I think I reviewed it for Starburst magazine. You may find the review still online somewhere. It's a terrible film. I can't remember him in it, fortunately, but he's risen above and away from that sort of stuff and moved into this very slick, very engrossing, and quite disturbing new science fiction thriller. And as I say, it's British. It stars Georgina Campbell. She most recently appeared in Bird Box Barcelona. It stars an actor called Mark Rowley, who I think has been in things like The Witcher. And playing Tim is an actor called, I think his name is Eamon Ferran, who's an Australian actor. I think he's also had appearances in the Witcher franchise, which I'm not that familiar with, to be honest. The story basically is that Georgina Campbell's character, Abby, she's recruited to work for a company called Integrate Resources, I think it's called, and it's run by Nathaniel Parker, who's quite a well-known British TV actor. They're on the verge of creating these robots, these completely sentient, intelligent, robotic creatures, android-type creatures, which are ostensibly humanoid, that they will obey your every command. They're technologically integrated manservants. You have them around the house, they do everything for you. But they're not quite right. There's a couple of little defects, and she's been drafted in as a prosthetics engineer to try and put the finishing touches to these things. She and her husband, Paul, what a great name, played by Mark Rowley, they move into this new state-of-the-art house out in the countryside, and it transpires that they're patching up a rocky sort of period they've had in their marriage, where Paul has been a bit of a naughty boy. It's always the blokes. And they've moved out of London into the countryside to start again. They're trying to get Georgina's trying to get pregnant. He's trying to get a job, but she gets the job working for Integrate, and one of the benefits, if you like, of working for the company is that you're given a Tim, one of these robot creatures that will obey your every command and just do everything for you. However, this Tim is a bit more sentient than anybody realises. It starts to take a bit of a shine to Abby. It's not very keen on Paul, and slowly starts to drive a wedge between them, and for its own particular purposes. This is a great film. This is a genuinely great film, and I'm amazed how much I enjoyed it, because, as I said, I've seen this sort of thing so many times. It's not new, but I think the fact that it's British, it has that British sensibility about it. I think if you look at it, step back at it, it does everything you expect this sort of film to do. There are no particular surprises, I suppose, although I think there are sort of things you think, oh, I didn't think that was going to happen. But it does it all very well. I mean, it's very slickly made. I mean, I'm amazed, as I said, having only known Spencer Brown from Shed of the Dead, as I say, I can't really place him now. It is amazing sometimes the leaps people can make creatively to go to another level, because this is a great film. It's not been particularly well reviewed, which is why I wanted to do a piece for it here to encourage you to watch it. The reviews I've looked at or been directed to are some of the sniffy broadsheet newspapers who don't really get this sort of thing, and they, it's not their area. But I think it's really very well made. It's very creepy. Tim himself is a very creepy performance from Eamon Ferran. He's got this sort of slightly inhuman look about him, and yet he tries to ingratiate himself into Abby and Paul's world, particularly to get at Abby. But it's a very strong look to the film. It has a great aesthetic. The house that they live in is one of these modern sort of soulless, computerized sort of houses. But everything's very, very believable. They live out in the country. They got this, this beautiful, slightly creepy house. And it just looks, I don't know what the budget was, but it looks great. It's a really handsome film. Very well directed by Spencer Brown. Very excited to see what sort of stuff he's able to do if he can do this for his first feature film. It's, you've got to think, whoa, this is very well handled. This is somebody who's very comfortable with the material, very comfortable with the genre. We don't get a lot of people who are comfortable with genre stuff in the bit, and so I'm really hoping that this film lets him go on to other things of this type, because it's a very, very good film. Very well, it's a good script, a really good cast. I mean, Georgina Campbell is superb. And I wasn't familiar with Mark Rowley, but he's very good support as her husband. In a way, I couldn't fault it. I had a great time watching it this afternoon. It's an hour and 45 minutes, but it flies by. It's an intimate story. It's not a massive cast. It's not a massive world-ending story. But it's just, it is, at the end of the day, it's a very cautionary tale about AI and how we need to keep a hand on it and keep it under control, if you like. It is very much, and I'll raise the name of the glorious Charlie Brooker again, because it's very much the sort of thing that he has brought to prominence. And it just takes it to another extreme, and the intimacy of it, and the fact that it's British as well, it just makes such a difference. It makes it even more disturbing in a way, that it's the sort of thing that is suggested could happen on our own doorsteps. I really enjoyed this film. It was an excellent afternoon of entertainment, and I do suggest that if you've got access to Netflix, I think most people have, this might not be one that you've been aware of or had attention drawn to, but I suggest you hire yourself over to your Netflix account and watch it as soon as you can. It's a really good sort of autumn evening thriller. It's really, really well done. I really enjoyed it. I liked it. You might be able to tell. T.I.M. is on Netflix, and I'm giving that a big fat 9 out of 10. And I have a feeling that this is going to end up on my top 10 list of the year. And I will be doing a video at the end of the year with my top 10 films and top 10 TV. But yeah, Tim is well worth looking at. Really enjoyable. And a bit disturbing, because of it's based on very real concerns that people have about this sort of stuff. I can't recommend it enough. Right, thank you for watching. Hope you've enjoyed this video. If you've watched Tim, why not leave a comment down below? Tell me what you thought of it. I'd be very interested to know what you thought of it. And also, please like and subscribe. That's a marvellous thing to do. Very generous thing for you to do. And leave a comment and share. Tell your friends. Right, I'll see you soon. Until I do, keep taking the stuff.